Welcome. I'm Jason.
And I'm Aaron.
And we're coming to you from the
Field Zone.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. We're glad to be back, too. We took a little bit of a break for the Christmas holidays, but we wanted to come back to you with some of the things that we were excited about Dice Masters, that we've, some things about the game have changed already since we came to you last, too. We did want to say we had a nice Christmas break. We got to play a lot of games. Actually, very little Dice Masters. Right before we went on our Christmas vacation, we did a Dice Masters tournament at our local store with our unlimited teams in preparation for the PDC, for the Pro Dice Circuit, and that went well, too. But we got to play some Hobbit Love Letter with Grammy and Grandpa. We got to play some Diamonds with Nana. And then we played lots of games when we went to Uncle Mark's house with his kids. We got to play Legendary. We got to play Splendor. We got to play Seven Wonders Duel. And then what was that game that with the little garden gnomes? What was that called?
Oh, Gnome You Didn't.
Oh, Gnome You Didn't. You didn't say that, did you? Oh, Gnome You Didn't? Is that the name of the game?
Yeah.
Oh, Gnome You Didn't. Yeah, we got to play Oh, Gnome You Didn't. And that was exciting for us because we never played that one before, too. So we did want to tell you a little bit about some local news. We played, well, I got to play. Aaron, where were you yesterday?
Pokagon in Michigan.
And what were you doing there?
Tobogganing.
Tobogganing. That sounds like a lot of fun. I was losing a lot at the Pro Dice Circuit, too. But the cool thing is I won this great Pro Dice Circuit die. It's a little green die here. I won that at the Pro Dice Circuit. What do you think of that?
Dad, that's a participation prize. Everybody got one.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, I still like it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Maybe if I do another one, I get another one. Okay.
Whatever you say.
All right. I did get to meet JT, who is the Canadian national champion. He came out to our game. That was great. We got to meet Randy from the reserve pool. He was great to hang out with. We got to have dinner with them. They were nice, and really enjoyed our time there. A lot of people came in. We had 20 people playing from all over the area. People came from as far as Canada. We had people coming from, of course, deep within Ohio. We had people coming in from Detroit, and it was great to see everybody. Everyone was just wonderful as we're used to seeing in our local scene. It was great to see. So later this month, you're going to play in your first Pro Dice Circuit tournament. Are you getting excited?
Yes.
Yeah, you think you got your team ready?
No. Not at
well,
all.
hey, that's all right. We got a couple weeks to practice with it, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're also excited. We can't go into a lot of details, but there's something that coming up for you that you wanted to talk about. What's one of the local things maybe happening for you?
In our area, there's going to start for a youth league, for kids 14 and under.
And I think they were talking about maybe putting that on top of some of the existing games in the area, but giving maybe some points out for the kids playing. So there's some details coming from that we're still trying to work out. One of our local players, Hank, has been putting that together. And so if we can get that rolled out and going, we're going to share some more details of that, because that sounds kind of exciting too. How many friends do you have that play Dice Masters that are around your age? And stop thinking. At least 5, which is great. So we can maybe get some of them roped in, maybe get some new kids interested in it. That'd be really cool. All right. A couple things have changed in the world of Dice Masters. One, we told you last time we were excited because in January, it's time for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to come out.
Totally.
Except, no, they got pushed back to April. So we're not going to get to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They said they were going to light it up maybe a little more with the HeroClix Ninja Turtles, maybe in preparation for the movie that's coming out that we were talking about last time. So we'll see some of that later. So I think the next set coming for us, probably next month, is the next Dungeons & Dragons set. That's pretty cool. You know what I'm excited about? I heard that they were going to put Black Widow and Wolverine in the next Dungeons & Dragons set. I'm just kidding. No, they seem to make their way into a lot. They seem to make their way into a lot of sets. I don't think they'll make it into that one. All right. Well, that's the other thing I guess we want to talk about was There's a lot of new OP kits for organized play that are coming out. The Thanos Imperative is out now. We haven't gotten our hands on those yet.
Oh, wow. A 10 cost beholder.
Yeah, when 7 cost wasn't expensive enough, 10 cost. Well, what if you only play Marvel? Now your price for only playing Marvel is having to buy a 10 cost character to get to use beholder stats, but that's all right. I wasn't that impressed with it. I think the art on it looks pretty cool. So
I personally haven't seen the art yet.
All right, well, I'll show you later. We'll maybe flash them up on the screen magically right here. Hey, what did you think of that? Was that pretty cool?
That was awesome.
All right. So, the magic of video. One of the things we learned from our last video is that it doesn't work well to be holding all the cards up to the screen. So we're not going to be holding cards up to the screen today. Hopefully you saw our little magic card trick there, and we'll be bringing some cards for you guys to see that we're looking at and thinking about as we talk about some of this here too. So I think it's time to move on to our next section. Let's look at gravity feed mistake, gravity feed box mistakes. All right, Aaron, tell us about this week's gravity feed box mistake.
Okay, I found a set that has definitely the most perfect gravity feed box of all time. Age of Ultron.
Perfect? You mean there's no mistakes on it at all?
Totally. Now, can you hear the extreme amount of sarcasm in my voice?
I'm guessing you found at least one mistake. Counting the mistakes. So we're not going to hold it too far up the screen. I took a picture that will flash up here in a second, but go ahead and spin around. Find the mistake that you want to talk about today.
Let's see. We're going to be talking about the Maria Hill on the side, on the right side, if you're facing the front of it, of the gravity feed box. It is the rare Director Shield, 3 costs.
This one at least has text on it. The ones we were looking at last time didn't have text on it. Some of these don't have text on it.
No, that one has text on it. Just you can see the M.
All right. So tell us about what's so special about this, and we're going to put this up on the screen for everyone to see here too.
So, you know Maria's Hill, right? I actually have a deformed die of it that was melted.
So they put a deformed melted die on the box?
Totally, no.
No.
What they did is that they made Maria Hill with blue dice. So
the Maria Hill on the gravity feed box has blue dice. So what color are her dice actually?
More of a light green.
Light green, not even close. So what color dice does are blue in the Age of Ultron set?
Bucky is the exact shade.
So it's like Bucky's blue dice, almost Bucky's haircut on Maria Hill dice there. Very confusing. It's definitely Maria Hill's card and stats that's floating in front of there, but no, that's not Bucky. That's Maria Hill, and she's got the wrong color dice.
On the box, there is Bucky's symbol, but I've looked through this box is like, you know how it has an assorted dice, like on the packs and gravity feeds. Bucky is not in them, so it's...
The closest you're going to get is that Maria Hill die.
So I'm thinking that they were originally not planning to put Bucky in at all. But
wait, that's Bucky? Oh, no, that's just Maria Hill again. We found another Maria Hill in there, too, so... All right. Well, hopefully they don't make any more mistakes. I take it back. I hope they do. This is fun, so we're going to be happy to point out the mistakes on the
We can keep
this
going for hours.
Yeah, we've got a lot, but we'll save that for future episodes. We did want to do this week kind of what we were doing last week we did this with Hulk. We're going to do let's talk about who we're going to talk about today in our card comparison.
So this is a very popular card. A super rare version of the AVX may be arguably the best card in the game by some standards. I'm talking about Black Widow from AVX, Age of Ultron, and The Amazing Spider-Man.
I told you, she shows up in a lot of sets, doesn't she?
Oh, sorry. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, is she going to be in there too?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I think they renamed her April, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's got the red hair, so.
Right.
So
there's some things that they all have in common. They're all 2-cost characters.
Some of them are 3 costs.
Right, but you want to talk about the commons today, right?
Yes.
Right. So all the commons are 2-cost characters, and matter of fact, in the Age of Ultron set, they're all commons. And so we picked one to use as a representation today, and we're going to bring these up on the screen for you guys to see here too. But which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's just start simple with AVX.
Okay.
Black Widow Natural. 2-cost Fist Avenger. At the end of the attack step, spin each character engaged with Black Widow down 1 level. This happens before damage clears.
So that one does some spinning. Matter of fact, all of the ones in Age of Avengers versus X-Men do a lot of dice spinning too. So that's kind of her thing there too. And you pointed out she's a fist character, so she fits well in a lot of those aggressive fist teams. She hardly stands up compared to her super rare version, but that's a much cheaper version. Sometimes there's a place for it. Do we want to talk about the others, and then we'll come back and compare the dice? So what do we pick? What do we pick for Age of Ultron?
Black Widow Natasha, 2-cost mask character,
Okay.
Avenger. Black Widow cannot be blocked unless your opponent spins down 1 of their character dice.
Now, I kind of like playing with that one for that effect. She's easy to bring out early. If you don't end up getting a character face, those masks are great for lots of stuff, right?
Yeah.
Distraction or relentless
PXG.
or just PXG. That's right. Too. And so the mask energy is great, and being able to throw her out there can't be blocked unless people are spinning down. If all they've got sidekicks, they can't spin anybody down, and she can just go through unblocked. But she's got a deficit. We'll talk about her in a second. Let's come over and talk about the Spider-Man. Why she's in the Spider-Man set, not sure. Too, but there's a few odd.
Because Avengers.
Yeah, because like. Right. There's a couple of X-Men in there too. So tell us about which one what's the comment there?
Black Widow Stinger. 2-cost shield.
Okay.
Avenger. There's a recurring pattern that's a different one every time. I'm actually hoping that she's in Civil War so that she'll be a bolt character, so she's one of each.
I could see them doing that. Matter of fact, she'd be a great person to put into Civil War set coming up later this year. Too. So that's probably the next place we might see her. But so tell us about the card text there. What does the Stinger do?
Aftershock. Aftershock has an ability when after this character is knocked out, deal 1 damage to target character die or player. This is actually a decent card, mostly because nobody would really do it to a character die unless you have Green Goliath.
So it discourages people from knocking it out, though you can throw it up there as a blocker.
Or you can just Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Nope, I was going to try to catch you a minute ago. It's not whenever she gets knocked out. She has to get knocked out by an opponent's action. So you can't Blue Eyes White Dragon your own character to trigger Aftershock, can you?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So, but you can throw it up there as a blocker. You can attack with it, and just to see if they're going to try to let it through anyway, or they're going to block it and knock it out, or have to maybe block it in a way that doesn't knock it out, too. So let's talk about the die stats on those. Tell me what you think about the different levels.
Okay, level 1 for Black Widow AVX is a 0 fielding cost, 2 attack, and 1 defense.
And tell me about level 1 for the one from Age of Ultron.
A 0 fielding cost, 1 attack, and 2 defense.
Flipped stats, all right.
A more defensive Black Widow.
All right, and then something similar then as to the first card on the Spider-Man one, right?
Yep. 0 fielding cost, 2 attack, and 1 defense.
So same stats there. So take us up to level 2. Tell us about level 2.
They're all the same. 0 fielding cost, 2 attack, and 2 defense.
0.
Nope. I am mistaken. On the Black Widow from Amazing Spider-Man, yes. It is a 1 fielding cost, 3 attack, and 2 defense.
So level 2, she goes right up to a 3 attack.
But
too.
1 fielding cost already.
So it costs some extra fielding to get her up in there. She's free for the others, but you get that extra 1 attack. And then does she go up in her attack value on level 3?
No.
No. Does she go up on her fielding cost?
No.
But she gets 1 more defense point.
which is always good.
One more defense point, and then if you go back to the Age of Ultron, what happens to her at level 3?
No extra attack point like
So
every other. So it's a 1 fielding cost, 2 attack, and 3 defense.
so you get extra point of defense for your fielding extra fielding cost. And how about the first AVX?
The exact same as Amazing Spider-Man. 1 fielding cost, 3 attack, and 3 defense.
But for her, that's actually a step up too, on both attack and defense.
1 of each, actually. 1 fielding cost, 1 attack, and 1 defense.
Right. So what we were pointing out, there's a problem with that. The one that can't be blocked, unblockable, is great. But when you get her, can't be blocked, and you punch her through, at most you're doing 2 damage. You have to pump her up, and you'd have to pump her up with some fists, maybe, or lightning bolts through vulnerability, or anger issues, or you just get your 2 damage in, which isn't bad, too. So if you get a bunch of, she's cheap, you get a bunch of her going through, you might be able to kind of rush with some unblockable characters, which is kind of nice, too. And since she's only doing 2 damage, she's not going to be able to trigger Mira, right? Mira's only triggers if it's over 5 combat damage, so you get a bunch of her attacking through, and you might be able to make something happen. But the others have better attack stats, too. One of them does direct damage, one of them affects your characters, your opponent's characters, and making them weaker in the process. Too. So, all right. So, what's your favorite out of those 3 cards? Which one do you like the best?
So I want you, who is watching on the screen there, to guess which one is my personal favorite, just by dice stats.
Oh, just by dice stats. We're not doing card
And card
text.
actually.
Okay, card text and dice stats. Which one do you like the best? Drum
If
roll.
you guessed Stinger, you were correct.
So you like the Stinger best. Now, she doesn't compare to Serena, but if you're doing like a little cup team with just commons, that Stinger is a really good card to get through. It's got better attack stats. It's got that aftershock effect, which makes them not want to block them, or lets you maybe throw it up there as a blocker and get some direct damage through on your opponent's turn, too. So. We'll have to think about. We're going to try to keep this going. We were kind of joking about Wolverine. We might compare some Wolverine stats next time. He's got some good cards. He's got some bad cards too. We'll try to maybe throw that up next time too. All right, let's talk a little bit about some strategy. Last time we talked about Guy Gardner and the kind of force that he's becoming, especially in competitive scenes. We're still seeing a lot of competitive teams. I tried to throw him at a field of 20 people at the PDC. Like I said, I did get my participation die, and I saw plenty of counters to that. I faced a Guy Gardner team, and honestly, we were punching and slugging it out, and I got knocked out first. I faced a control team that was trying to throw some of these 2-cost characters in there. Surprisingly, Guy Gardner wasn't one of them. Too, he had some other cards in there. He got actually Angel Soaring to go through. And remember Angel Soaring? What he does? He's a 2-cost shield.
Once he's in action die, he is unblockable.
And so he kept rolling through, getting his angels lined up, and then when he got maybe his big entrance, or I think he had True Believer, he got those to kind of pop through on an action face. Boom, he was getting a bunch of angels through unblocked at me, too, and I didn't really have any defense prepared for that. I got him down to 1 life, and he punched through for the final win there. What really surprised me was Imprisoned. Wasn't planning for Imprisoned. I didn't have anything on my team to deal with dice, too, and my team was very vulnerable to Imprisoned. A lot of low fielding costs. Kind of the point of it is get a lot of low fielding cost characters out there and just hit your opponent, hit your opponent, hit your opponent. And couldn't hit him fast enough. He got Imprisoned up and just started putting all of my Guy Gardners and my Miris and all my sidekicks in Dice Master's jail until he had enough to swing for lethal, and then that was the end of that match too. So I won a couple of games, lost 3 too with that there too. I did want to point out, one of our viewers pointed out a mistake that I made talking about ways to get around Guy Gardner. I said that the Venom Rare, Angelo Fortunato, was a way to get around Guy Gardner, knocking him out before he ever had a chance to come up. Aaron, tell us why that doesn't work.
I'll just give you the basis of Venom Rare. While Venom is active, I guess Winfield did too, but
While he's active, right? What happens?
your opponent's fist characters, non-fist characters, get -2 attack and -2 defense.
And actually, Guy Gardner is a fist character, so that wouldn't have messed him up at all, too. And one of our readers pointed that out, or readers, one of our viewers pointed that out to us, and I actually got to play him. He was one of the people I played this weekend. His name is Jay, and so hi, Jay, and thanks for pointing that out. Thanks for watching. Please, guys, if you find mistakes and stuff we're talking about, talk back to us. Let us know on the YouTube comments. Let us know in maybe the reserve pool. Anywhere where you can get a hold of us, we're lots of places. Watch the credits at the end. You can see places to get a hold of us. Let us know. We'd be happy to hear from you about any other ideas you've got, anything you'd like to see on the show, too. But we wanted to talk a little bit about Green Goliath. We teased him last time. He was featured in our card versus die comparisons last week, and wanted to talk a little bit about how do you deal with him. Too. He's great as a defensive character, and then why would you attack him? Why would you attack your opponent if all he's got to do is stick his Green Goliath up there to bounce off of, and then start wiping your board with it? Because what does Green Goliath do if he takes damage, or if your opponent takes any damage? What happens if you got Green Goliath out?
No, if you
right. Well, right. Well, right. I'm sorry if your opponent. Right. You're right. Whichever way you want to look at it. If I've got Green Goliath, and I'm using him as a defensive character, and I take damage, or Green Goliath takes damage. So what happens to that in that case?
If it is on its level 1 or level 2 face with the burst symbol, it does 3 damage to all of your opponent's characters.
And we see a lot of that coming around. There's ways to make sure he ends up on that level 1 or level 2 face. You can polymorph him in at level 1. You can use the polymorph global to spin him down if you had to roll him in, too. And so it's easy to get on that face and just start wiping your board. What's one of the nice basic action cards that they use with Green Goliath to just start triggering him whenever they want?
The Magic Missile.
Magic Missile from that first D&D set, that global set. That's right. So you do a point of damage to Green Goliath, and he starts doing 3 damage to everything you've got out there until you've got nothing left, too. So, what do you do when you're facing such a big beast? Because if you clears your board and starts attacking through, he's going to hit you for a lot of damage, like we showed last week. So, what can you do about it? You got any ideas?
Let's see.
So, are there any special action dice that would mess him up?
The Millennium items.
So, the Millennium items from the Yu-Gi-Oh set. So, which one are those? The Millennium
Rod and Puzzle.
So Rod takes control of him. That's pretty cool. So you get a chance to use him on your team.
Yes.
So he can't be used against you. If you throw a Millennium Puzzle or Millennium Rod at him, what does the Millennium Puzzle do?
Send him back to the used pile.
Just send him off the board, too. That's a great one to have there, too.
Okay.
Probably a little better because he goes to used than Solomon Grundy Rare, right? What does Solomon Grundy Rare do?
Okay. Once knocked out, not by your opponent.
Well, so, doesn't take the combat damage, right?
Yeah, so, yes.
Right, so if he gets knocked out any other way, it's like, this is where you bring up that other
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
Blue Eyes White Dragon.
You can knock out one of your opponent's characters.
And so, that one is nice because you can trigger it whenever you want, including right when he fields the Hulk or polymorphs him in, when he passes priority to you. Hulk doesn't get a chance to do anything, too. Kind of what happens with Millennium Puzzle, too. You already have to have Millennium Puzzle out there, so you have to have him out there ahead of time. You don't need the Blue Eyes to trigger it, but he goes to use. So both of those are good solutions. One goes to used, where he sits there for a while, has to cycle back through his bag. One of them goes to KO, which means he gets to roll him again next turn. So, what else do we think of? Prismatic Spray, right?
Yeah.
Prismatic Spray, just kind of neutralize him for a round. Maybe you want to get that attack through and not take any damage, not bounce off of him, have him wipe out the rest of your characters. So Prismatic Spray would do it. Any kind of targeted removal that doesn't do damage to him. So using one of the Storm from AVX, right?
Yeah.
There's when fielded and when attacking. They send them either to use or to the prep area, but those will get them off the board. What about there's a 2-cost mass character from Uncanny X-Men that could be used to remove things. Do you know which one I'm thinking of?
Psylocke, Quanon the Assassin.
Psylocke, Quanon the Assassin. The rare card could be used to remove him without that, too. Um, Wanted to throw a nod out to JT, who at the Canadian Nationals kind of famously brought Jade Giant, and Jade Giant was nice because as soon as you got Jade Giant there, as soon as Green Goliath triggered and did damage to Jade Giant got to knock out Green Goliath, and so that's kind of nice too, because it's the same kind of effect except it's just a knockout instead of only knocks out one character. But it's nice if you can just anytime you can just knock out Green Goliath without doing damage. That's pretty good. You could capture him. Probably more famous ones have been Ultron Drone recently. Those are easy to bring up and pay to make him block and get him captured. At least gets him again out of your way for maybe that big swing that you want to do too. So what if you really like Green Goliath and those people are bringing those kind of cards and you want to find a counter to those kind of cards? What could you do about those?
Counter for the counter.
Counter for the counter. What could you do for those action dice? Is there any cards you can think of that will kind of neutralize the action dice?
Doom Caliber Knight.
Doom Caliber Knight, Skeletal Warrior. If he's already parked out there, as soon as Prismatic Spray comes out, as soon as Millennium Puzzle or Millennium Rod comes out, too, Doom Caliber Knight, you got to knock him out. Matter of fact, there's no maybe about it. You got to knock him out, but it knocks out the dice and they don't take effect, too. So you can protect your Hulk from that with there too. Ultron Drone, if they try to pull the Ultron Drone trick, if you can maybe Magic Missile your Hulk before Ultron Drone has a chance to attack and start capturing you, you might be able to get him off the field. He doesn't have great defensive stats, too. Boy, I tell you what, it's that Solomon Grundy rare, Storm, those are kind of hard, too. Depending which Storm she's attacking when fielded, you might be able to do Hellblazer, have Hellblazer out there from the Constantine Hellblazer to block out that Storm. Too. But Solomon Grundy rare, I'm not sure what a good defense is. Can you think of a good defense against having Solomon Grundy just knock out your Hulk before he ever gets a chance to do anything?
Millennium Puzzle.
So you could Millennium Puzzle the Solomon Grundy yourself?
Yes, basically. Just put it into the use file.
Yeah, so if you have your own Millennium Puzzle, you might be able to stop the Solomon Grundy from knocking out your Hulk. So that'd be kind of interesting. All right. So that's the kind of stuff we want to talk about for strategy, counter strategy, counter strategy. If you guys think of anything that you want us to talk about, any special ideas, let us know. If not, we'll come up with some of our own. We like talking about this stuff all the time. We talk about this when we're not on camera, and so we thought we might want to share some of that with you too. So you can reach us. Comments on YouTube. You can email us. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. Please take a look at the credits at the end here. We'll show you how to get a hold of us too. But a lot of the reserve pool, I mean not the reserve pool, sorry, they're from the Field Zone in the name, and you'll see ways to get a hold of us right on there too. Aaron, anything else that you wanted to say or talk about before we go tonight?
Just one thing. I am having trouble thinking about which card comparison next. So if anybody has any suggestions, I am open all ears.
All right, we'd love to hear your suggestions. If we don't get any suggestions, we'll figure out something. But if you want us to talk about card comparisons, we've been liking to do the different cards in different sets, like different Hulks from different sets or Black Widows. But we'll definitely compare card versus card that are different or from different sets. So if you guys have any requests, let us know. All right. Thank you very much for joining us. This is Jason again.
This is Aaron.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.